Hello everyone, my name is Lyahi and it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. In this video, I wanted to share a collection of photos and videos that I have accumulated over the past 2 years about. Mostly, or pretty much all of them pertaining to World of Warcraft. And yeah, they were taken during the duration of Wrath of the Lich King and Cataclysm Classic. I only recently started playing the game again, so I don't have any from Mists of Pandaria. But yeah, I just wanted to share some of these memories with people and maybe explain a bit of background with them as well, just to keep things interesting. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. And I apologize in advance for the video quality. I'm kind of new to this, so I don't exactly know how it's going to come out exactly, but I will do my best to cut anything else that I feel is completely and wholly unnecessary. Information for the sake of brevity. So anyway, let's get started. Alright, so this is the first photo, and I'm going by date in the folder that I have. So this photo is from a parkour course that I designed, so to speak. Of course, I didn't put down the obstacles that you see before you. That was obviously Blizzard. But this is the island that is in, I forget, somewhere. I think is it Ice Crown? Is it in Northern Ice Crown? I don't exactly remember, but this is before the Trial of the Grand Crusader phase, as you can tell, because there are no Vrykruel. And yeah, so this was a parkour course that I designed for one of my island competitions, so to speak. And the general idea behind the island competition was that on paper, I wanted to pit 8 players against each other and do a kind of total drama island style, where I would have them compete in a series of challenges, and at the end of each challenge there would be a player, or maybe more than one player, that would be immune to elimination, and I would have them essentially vote each other off, because, you know, I thought that would be fun, a bit of drama, right? And intrigue and whatnot. Never ended up panning out the exact way I wanted it to, but regardless, you know, I very much appreciate everybody who participated in the competitions that I did host, even if they weren't perfect. And yeah, so that's essentially the context behind this image. I had people start over here, I believe, and they were essentially supposed to get from here to here. This little whale's, or this tail right here, this fish tail, and land on top of that. It was certainly possible. It was not that easy. And yeah, and they were supposed to do it without touching the snow, of course. So this doesn't count. Or rather, like, if you land here, like in this little patch, it counts as touching the floor. So you would have to return to here. But if you manage to make it, say, I think it was here, then you got a checkpoint. And if you fell, then you were able to return to this spot. And then I think there was another checkpoint somewhere else. I don't exactly remember all the details. But yeah, that was the general idea. And I think I had a marked version of this image, but I don't know where it is, so yeah. So this is one of the teasers for the competition. This is, you know, the unedited version. I have a series of photos here that I can show you. I'll just go through them quickly. There's only 5 images, I believe, or 4? No, 5. Yeah, 5 images. And then these are the edited versions of the image. So as you can see in the bottom left, you can see the number of days left until the competition, and it's supposed to be like a postcard, basically. So I thought it was cute idea, and they were supposed to kind of give hints, because at the time I didn't tell anyone where the competition was. You know, I wanted to keep it a surprise, and I thought it was a good idea, like a good location. So I just wanted to keep it a secret, kind of. But anyway, I gave hints at the top, you know, and people were welcome to try to figure out where it was. And they're not perfect, you know, not perfect hints or anything like that. I think like the images themselves are supposed to kind of give an idea. Like this image, for example, okay, it's a deserted island, so we know it's on an island. This image is, I believe there was like a cave with like meat or like a corpse in it on the island, so that's why I did this image. Or maybe a campfire, something like that. This image, I think the island has like fog, if I'm not mistaken. So this is like, you know, supposed to kind of evoke that same feeling. This image, I think this is the meat. This is the meat image. As you can see in the background, there's like little piles of meat here. And then this one is very close by to the location of the competition. So if it wasn't, and this is only one day out, so if it wasn't more obvious before, then this one should give it away. But yeah, so those are the teasers, and then this was the reference image that I had for so basically I streamed the competition, but I didn't like stream it. I streamed it over Discord with some people, and it, you know, it didn't go perfectly. I also wasn't really using my microphone at the time, so I kind of just had to like wing it a bit, and I couldn't really, it wasn't that great. But point is that whenever I had to kind of take a second to like fix something or change something, I would just throw up this image but like edited, okay, this one, so people would be like looking at the stream and seeing it from my perspective. But if I had to fix something, I would throw this up. So, and then this was like, you know, before the competition started, you know, like waiting for people to come in, and just so they would have something to I guess look at. As you can see, it's kind of poorly made. It has a watermark, but you know, at the time it was good enough. And yeah, I'm going through these in order, so I guess this is what comes next. Yeah, so this is a video of a paladin in my previous guild, one that I was a part of, not necessarily that it was my guild, but a paladin named Forios that obtained the legendary weapon Val'anyr, which, if you don't know, you have to obtain 30 shards or something like that from the bosses in Old War. And with that, you can forge the weapon. And I think you have to like throw it in the mouth of Yogg-Saron or something. It's really cool. It was a really cool event. I was happy to be a part of it. And yeah, I mean, everybody was like, you know, kneeling before him except for me. I was trying to like record it, I guess, so I wanted to like be able to move. Or maybe I just wasn't thinking at the time. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. But yeah, just a nice event. I don't know if I'll let the whole video play out, but oh, I skipped ahead. Yeah, and this is the part of the video where I kind of looked at the weapon. It looks really cool. I like it. So yeah. Alright, and in this next video, this was after one of our raids, I believe. This is 2 members of the guild, Gwain and Lyahi. It's just a short video, but I think we were doing duels after raid. And yeah, this was one of the duels. This is Gwain, by the way. He's a disciplined priest. This is Lyahi. He was in the guild before, and I believe he played Ret Paladin. He was really, really good too. And I think that might be me on my Prot Paladin. Just in the background, I was recording, I guess, on my main account. But yeah, there's not really much to say about this one. Oh yeah, so this was one of the images that I had for effect, and I know I misspelled lounge, and so I didn't go back and correct that for whatever reason, but this is one of the images I had advertising an escape room that I designed in the game. It was basically like, think of like a point and click adventure game. You're like given prompts and you like interact with things in the environment by like saying I want to interact with this thing, and I just give you a response as to like what information you find or information that you glean from interacting with that item. And you know, I try to give an interaction for basically everything in the environment that I can think of. It was a lot of work for sure, but it was really fun to work on these. And this is one of the escape rooms that I have in Dalaran, called the Ledgerdemain Lounge. If you don't know, it's one of the inns in Dalaran. I think it's at the center somewhere. And yeah, so this is the upstairs area, and I had 2 of my characters posing for photos for the escape room. You know, just as a bit of fun, bit of flavor. Their names are Kaleli and Soliana. So this is Kaleli, this is Soliana. This is my mage, warlock. And there's a, you know, good bit of pictures here of them just kind of, you know, doing things in the escape room. Like I'll show you, for example, you have this one, you know, this is an image of them searching around the room. You know, you have Soliana leaning before this chest here, and then, or not leaning rather, but kneeling. And you have Kaleli over here at this table, examining whatever may be on it. You have this image. I really like this image, by the way, of Kaleli sleeping in the bed. She's, you know, at the forefront of it, and then you have Soliana in the background, just kind of, you know. I just like the way that it's like framed, you know. Like I think it looks really good. So I was definitely cooking on that one, I will say. And then this one on the balcony is nice as well. You know, it's an outdoors picture. And you see Soliana in the background gesturing to this pile of crates in a barrel. And then Kaleli at the forefront once again, albeit not as close, but kneeling before this bed of flowers. And then just here's an image of a painting in one of the rooms. Just thought it was cool. And yeah, so this is the trailer for the escape room. I think this one has better audio. I don't know why I didn't delete the other one, but yeah, so I will play the trailer now. Yeah, that's the video. It's really corny, I know, but I thought at the time it was just a fun idea. I could speak so much more about it at length if you guys care to hear. You know, I know it's not a perfect video, but I think it gets the message across pretty well. And if you don't know what that music's from, it's from a game called Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. I really like that game. So yeah, this is a video on how to play the escape room as well. And then I also have a video on what happens if you failed the escape room, aka you weren't able to complete it in time. Because if you don't know about escape rooms, typically they have like a 1 hour time limit. And so I'm not going to say, you know, most real life escape rooms have like some sort of series of events that happens if you don't complete it in time or anything like that. But usually, I mean, there's like stakes, you know, even if they're imaginary. So yeah, but first I'll play the video on how to play the escape room. Yeah, I like that. I like that one as well. Thought I did a pretty good job, and I like the transitions, and I know I misspelled hesitate. I just caught that now, but you know, it gives you a general idea on how to play. And that music is from Persona 5. Also love that game as well. And now I present to you what happens if you fail to escape in time. Yeah, that was it. Just like, alright, I'm gonna blow up Dalaran now. You failed. That was it. That music is also from Persona as well. So overall, I enjoyed very much working on this project. And I've also worked on a bunch of other projects as well, but some of them I didn't bother to document in picture or video form for whatever reason. But I can talk more about those at some other points if anyone cares to listen. Alright, so back to some pictures. This one is from Trial of the Grand Crusader. We made a star using these shadow jade focusing lenses. This is something you can make through jewel crafting that I found out about back in Wrath. And so once I found out about them, I was like, oh, this is really cute. I like this. This is fun. So I just decided to start handing them out to people. And yeah, so we made a star. Fortunately, my rage frames are covering whoever's standing here. And I don't exactly remember who this is. But I know that this is my raid leader, Zara. This is Tho. Obviously used to play Resto Druid. And then this is Verm. He plays Blood Death Knight. And then of course there are people in the background of the image as well. This is me, of course. And yeah, there's really not much to say about this one. This is just like, I don't know why I took this image, I'm gonna be honest. This is just like a group of people for Vault of Archavon. Maybe I like wanted an idea of how to like make it myself, I guess. Like one of each class or something. I don't know. I really don't know why I took this image, but I kept it. Oh yes, this is first time I got Reins as a blue Proto-Drake on my Prot Paladin, who's on my second account. I think I said something along the lines of when I showed my guild, like, hey, look at this cool staff I got. So, but yeah, I don't even think it took me that long to get either. Once I figured out how to solo it, I was like, alright, I guess I'm gonna run it now. And yeah, I think I got it within a few weeks. So, it's a nice mount, for sure. Oh yeah, this is the first time that I soloed Magtheridon back in Wrath. It was just a good little achievement. I had to kind of like workshop how to even do it myself. Like I watched a video of somebody else do it, but I wasn't really executing it perfectly, so I just had to like spend, as you can see in guild chat, I spent like 3 hours trying to do this boss. But I felt pretty accomplished after I did it. And it's like 500 gold or something like that, so is it necessarily worth the time? I mean, that's up to you. This, like I said, this was back in Wrath, so maybe not nowadays. I don't even know if they still give you 500 gold for it, but yep. This is when I got the Starcaller title on my Paladin. I used to be very afraid of like raid leading, and but this is like the first 10-man group I think I raid led, or like I specifically wanted to kill Algalon for the title, and I wanted to tank the boss. Back then I thought like this is a really hard boss, and so I just wanted the challenge of like doing it myself. And yeah, I mean, we had a good group, got a good group together, and I eventually got the title, and I was super duper happy. So yeah, Starcaller Nayomilli. This is when I got the Reins on my main account. I used my Paladin, I believe, to run my Shadow Priest through the dungeon, because of course my Paladin already had the mount, or that account had the mount rather. I don't know if mounts were account bound at this time actually, probably not, but considering this is during Trial of the Grand Crusader, as you can tell due to my armor or my tier set. But yeah, I don't think it took me too long to get this one either, because I wasn't farming it like the whole time, you know. I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna run this dungeon, because of course I want stuff on my main account. I don't necessarily want it on my second account, but yeah. This is the first time we killed Algalon 25 in the guild. It was a long time coming. People worked really hard, and yeah, it was a good kill. And so this image is for posterity, I guess, just, you know, as a memory. I think, like, I don't remember necessarily who everybody is in this image, or like whose character is whose. I think this is a warrior warlock, so I think their names were Zipper and Doherty. And then we had Forios in the front, the one who got Val'anyr earlier that I showed you. It's pretty obvious, he has it right there. I think this is Wyrm as well, otherwise known as Hailesauer, the Blood Death Knight. This is Vezia, one of the officers in the guild. He also played Death Knight, but I believe he played Unholy. This is Spooky, the leader of the guild. Spooky played Shadow Priest, of course, but could also flex to healer. Had a lot more experience with that than I did. This is Adama, Black Adama, the Warlock. I think he played Demo, I guess, judging by the Felguard. And who else? I don't want to stay too long on this. I don't know. I think this might be Bubs, if I'm not mistaken. I know he used to have the Noggenfogger elixir on a lot. And lastly, I know it's really hard to see, but yeah, that's me. That's me right in the middle. You can see the silhouette of a Draenei Shadow Priest, my little horns sticking out on the side. I didn't like exiting Shadow form. I really like Shadow form, even if it makes you up here like a dark purple blob. But yeah. And in case, you know, this is, you don't know who this is a brand Bronzebeard. So, yeah. There you go. This is a video of me testing out a weak aura called Fake Q, I believe it was called, or something along those lines. And what it did was when you casted Mind Flay and you tried to interrupt Mind Flay using a spell like Mind Blast, Vampiric Touch, Devouring Plague, Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death, Mind Seer, whatever spell. Could be even other spells as well. Whatever spells that you had a thing called you had to have like something macroed into a spell to make it properly like clip your Mind Flay. But this weak aura allowed you to clip your Mind Flay with close to no latency, right? As you can see here. So when I casted Mind Blast, I clipped my Mind Flay with 0 MS according to the add-on. I clipped my Mind Flay with Mind Flay, 0 MS, and then you can see it for yourself. But yeah, I mean, I can show you the video. It's not too long, just to see like how it worked in practice. Anyway, but I think you get the idea. I don't need to show the other 20 seconds, but at the start, when this weak aura first came out, it wasn't perfect. Like, sometimes it worked, but sometimes it didn't work that well, and I think maybe it had something to do with adjusting some of the settings of the weak aura. But I know later down the line, it started to work like a lot better. So, you know, it was kind of, if you're like trying to eke out that much more damage as a Shadow Priest because you're trying to, you know, parse or whatever, it's just something that I used to care a lot more about, then it was certainly something that gave you an edge. And I know, you know, why do I have like this weak aura that tells me how to do my rotation? Listen, I don't know. Looking back, it doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why I had it. It's just kind of a crutch, honestly. But yeah, I didn't really use it most of the time. Meaning like I didn't pay attention to it most of the time. So I guess it didn't really make a difference in the long run. Okay, so this is Peck Peck. He was a hunter, I think, just judging by looking at him. He appeared in one of my TOGC raids, and I think he was like complaining about the fact that I was reserving one of the trophies off the bosses. I think you only got trophies if you killed bosses on heroic. So yeah, he was just kind of, we probably didn't do that many heroic bosses, which is why he was probably complaining. Fair enough. But I just thought it was kind of funny at the time. And I saw him again, I don't know how much longer later, probably months later. And I saw him standing outside while I hold, so I took a picture of him. This is the first time I got the Swift Razzashi Raptor off of, who is this? Takada? No, Manicure. In Zul'Gurub. This mount is obviously no longer obtainable, but yeah, this is the first time I got it. And I say first time because I got it on 2 accounts. So yeah, I got it on my 2nd Shadow Priest. I have multiple Shadow Priests, which I think is, for anyone who's kind of competitive, that's pretty normal to have multiple of the same spec. And I think human Shadow Priest was more optimal for, what was the name of the, it was like an ability that allowed you to like break out of like stun effects or something like that. I forgot, will something like that. Something will, I think. Will to survive, is that what it was? I don't exactly remember, but yeah, so that's why I had a human Shadow Priest. But yeah, this is nice, I was really happy. This is my bank on my Paladin. Doesn't look like this anymore, but I kept a lot of stuff from Burning Crusade. Just because I have a lot of fond memories of Burning Crusade as well, but I didn't really take any pictures during that time. So I just kept the items, you know, like a crescent, that trinkets, another like a Dark Moon card or whatever. I don't exactly remember the names of these items, but I used to farm Stratholme for gold so I could funnel it to my main. This is when I got Swiftwhite Hawkstrider on my 2nd account, on my Blood DK. I had already gotten the mount though previously from farming the dungeon that drops it, that I can't recall the name of immediately, but I do know it's on the Isle of Coldenas. I just thought it was cool that you could get a mount out of these little packages that you get from completing dungeons. I thought that was pretty cool. This is my 2nd Shadow Priest, Devannie. She got tier 10 first, which is Ice Crown Citadel tier. The 2-4, what item level? 251, that's what it is. This is 251 item level. And I believe I got the pants drop off of Vault to Archavon first week, so that's why I was able to complete my set as soon as I could. And God, Mind Flay felt so good, having 0.5 seconds shaved off or something like that. Overall, it's insanely good tier set, and it looks really good too. This is when my Paladin got Fiery Warhorse from Karazhan. I should have, like in hindsight, I should have been running the dungeon with my Paladin doing the boss and having like a character from my main account just being there so I could pick up the mounts if I wanted to get it on my main account, but I didn't. I was just running it with my Paladin alone, so I ended up getting it on my 2nd account first, and then much later I finally got it on my main account. This is the Red Karaji Resonating Crystal. It's like a 1% drop rate from certain mobs in Ahn'Qiraj. Just thought it was cool. This is the mount you get for obtaining 100 mounts. Thought that was also pretty cool. This is the pet you get from doing the achievements where you have to click a bunch of books in Dalaran, but they appear in random, not random locations, but they appear randomly in set locations, and you have to And they have like a long cooldown as well, so it's pretty time consuming. Yeah, you kind of have to just be there at the right time, but you can also abuse layering if you want, if you're that desperate for it, because they'll appear in, like, different layers will have different books, basically. So who knows, you might have a book that you don't have appear in a different layer, but you have to be quick about it because they do disappear after somebody looks at them. So shortly after somebody looks at them, not immediately, but yeah. This is one of those books, by the way. As you can see that I'm hovering over in the top right quadrant of the screen. This is my first time doing Lich King on normal mode, 25N. I wasn't running up my guilds at the time. I think this week I was benched, I'm pretty sure. So I just decided to run it with the GDKP. But yeah, it's pretty eventful. I was pretty excited. Finally got to do the fight that I wanted to do for the entire expansion. And I know everybody wants to do it. But I definitely especially wanted to do it. Oh, this is when I got branded a war criminal. Someone changed my note, and yeah, I couldn't change it back. This is the benevolent Mr. Pinchy. You get him from Mr. Pinchy's magical crawdad or something like that. I think you fish it up in Terracar Forest from those fishing pools. It's kind of rare, and then I think you can get like a pet from it if I'm not mistaken, but it's not a guaranteed thing. But this is one of the things that can spawn from it, and I just felt like, you know what, I'm doing my Ice Crown dailies, let me use Mr. Pinchy here and let me see what I get. And yeah, this is what I got. So this is a blessed image. No context needed. This is me on a turtle in shadow form. This is before Deathbringer Sourfang. This is a weird bug I experienced. I don't know, I was just riding my Traveler's Tundra Mammoth and just had like this griffin appear on top. I forget how I even did this in the first place. I was probably on my way to Zul'Gurub. This is when I got the Swift Zillion Tiger. You know, for the longest time, I always looked at other people in Dalaran and said, dang, I wish I had that mount. You were so lucky, because that mount is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. And I finally got it. So, yeah, one of the highlights. And as you can tell, I think it was during Christmas time. So, yeah. Or Feast of Wintervale, as they say. This is when I got the 10-man achievement mount from Icecrown Citadel. I did a 10-man achievement group, and it was tough. I was playing Holy, I believe, and I did not have much experience at all playing Holy Paladin. I played Prot for most of the time that I played TBC and Wrath, so that was an experience. Healing, especially the Sindragosa achievement and the Lich King achievement as well. Those are stressful, but I got it, and it's a really nice mount, I gotta say. This was the teaser for season 2 of the island competition. Never ended up happening. It's unedited, of course. I think there might be the edited version after this, we'll see. This was a video I made for the second season, and it was just introducing the competition, that's all. Just, you know, talks about what happens during the competition. I guess I could let it play just because I didn't have this video saved. I have it on YouTube unlisted, but I didn't have this version of the video saved on my desktop, so. Yep, so nothing special. This is my former raid leader, Zara. I think when the mount first came out, I forget. I think people weren't supposed to have the mount or something at the time. And so they like had it on the shop. I don't know if it was for like the 12-month or something. If you bought like 12 months, you got the mount. And then, but then I think they took it off the shop and then put it, I think, was it supposed to be for retail maybe? That might have been what it was. Like, I think it might have been originally for retail, but they put it in Classic. But correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, but Zara was like one of the few people who got the mounts like initially, so he was just like sitting on this, you know, well that leads into the sewers. And yeah, I just took a picture of him. Oh yes, this is when someone was trying to, he basically did like a /who of people in the guild, and then he just took someone's name, tried to make a level 1 tune that looks like their name, and messaged me about gold. So I thought that was kind of funny. I'm basically impersonating people trying to get gold. Yeah, I think someone tried to impersonate me as well, and they messaged someone in the guild, and they were basically telling me like, hey, did I send this message, or like asking for gold, and I was like, no, I've never done that before. And they're basically telling me you should probably change your account, you know, password and whatnot, just to be safe. But yeah, I guess in hindsight it was probably just somebody imitating me, because I don't think anyone would have had access to my account. And I was just messing with him. I was like, yeah, I got 500k, bro. You need a loan? And he's like, yep. And I think I might have even like traded him, open trade, and put like a bunch of gold in there. You can't even hold 500k at a time, so I put like, I don't know how much I had, but I was like, all right, here you go. And then I just closed trade. This is Death Charger's Reins from Baron Riverdare in Strathholm. I didn't even run this dungeon that many times. It was like my second or third time running it, like actively trying for the mount. So I got pretty lucky, honestly. And I know a lot of people have much worse luck when it comes to mounts, or at least this mount maybe, but yeah, I got it fairly fast. So I was like, all right, well, that's one thing I don't have to farm for. It's pretty highly coveted mount. This is like a image I thought it was interesting, where I got an Elementium lockbox out of an Elementium lockbox, I think. So Elementium lockboxception. Don't ask me why I thought this was interesting. This is an NPC called Gug Fat Candle. He just drops a bag called Fat Candle Bag. This was before the world revamp, so I don't even think this guy exists anymore. Maybe he does. Your guess is as good as mine. Oh, and now we're getting into Takada. So this is the Vitreous Stone Drake. This drops off a boss in Stonecore, right? The dragon boss, but I don't remember the name of it. But it's a pretty low drop rate, but you can run it a bunch of times. I think it drops on normal mode as well. So yeah, I farmed it and I got it. This one didn't take that long as well, but you know, still like way more attempts than some of the other mounts that I've done. You know, it's alright. It's a good mount. This is when I finally got Fiery Warhorse on my main account. Took all the way until Takada. Believe me, I was running it every single week, multiple times a week on all of my tunes, and I have a bunch of tunes on my main, so it took a while. This is when I got my first Horde tune to Level 80? Which wasn't even the max level, I guess, but this is my first time, I think, getting a Horde 2 into like a high level, so I guess I'd take a picture. It was a Hunter, because I really like playing Hunter during Kata. I thought it was pretty fun. And I kind of decided to like branch out from playing Shadow Priest. This is for Pirates Day, I guess. I just thought it was a neat image. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. This is on the anniversary server. This is when I got my Paladin, who is now on my main account instead of being on my second account. She's on my main account on the anniversary server. So I still have my old one though, my original, on the second account. But this one should ding level 60. So I'm probably not gonna waste your time with like watching the video, the whole thing. I can kind of just like fast forward through it a little bit. But you know, she's dancing. Oh. And she was the first level 60 that I did on the anniversary server. What is this? I don't actually remember. Oh, I see. These are like the explanations of the events that I did for the second season. I'm not gonna go through all of these, even though they're really cute. But yeah, they would just explain like what to do during the different events. So, and these took place as well as you may be able to tell on the anniversary server, as opposed to the Cataclysm server. This is when I got my priest as well to level 60 on the anniversary server. I would have liked to have, you know, had my main, like remade my main, but obviously Draenei don't exist in vanilla, so I had to settle for Night Elf, which are just as fine. They're good, you know. I didn't even have a helmet either. It's funny. But it's the same thing, except this time I'm finishing in Ungoro Crater, finishing the quest Aquamentus. That's all the videos and images I have, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this journey down memory lane, and yeah, I have, you know, so many more things to talk about when it came to Wrath. If anyone cares to hear, you know, just please let me know down in the comment section below. But otherwise, you know, thank you so much for dedicating the time to watching this video. It means a lot to me. Thank you and have a wonderful day.